Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome to this awesome Super Mario Odyssey discussion on my channel, the Andres Restart channel. And I'm joined by, as usual, Brandon from What About Nintendo. How you doing, bro?
Doing great.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to be getting to Mario Odyssey. This is a big part of the discussion. We both have the game. We've been playing it all weekend, and we're loving the heck out of it. Spoiler, right? We won't be spoiling any story segments or anything like that. We'll keep any talk to the earlier levels for those who are watching and when this is archived or right here in the beginning. But anyways, let me go over the outline briefly so people have an idea of what's going on. So what we're first going to do is actually go over some news that have happened throughout the week. Right, we're going to talk about Switch sales, we're going to talk about Rocket League a little bit, and we're going to talk about a little bit of Zelda. And then, you know, since it is Halloween, we will go over a couple scary memories we have from some video games we've played in the past. And then, after a few minutes, we will get into the big part of discussion, which is all about Super Mario Odyssey. It's been amazing. Hope you guys can hear. I actually have some music playing from the Wooded Kingdom. Yeah, I'm pumped. But Brandon, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I've been good. Playing a lot of Mario Odyssey. A lot of it. But I've also been playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which has been fun. So between those two games, whenever I can't play my Switch, like if I'm eating dinner, I'm just Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. When I'm not doing that, I'm playing Super Mario Odyssey. So, and then I've been playing some scary games because it's close to Halloween. Just streamed SCP Containment Breach. Mess of a game, but it is also very scary. So,
okay,
it's been fun. Have a good time.
Interesting. Actually, I have to check it out. I haven't checked it out yet. But also something interesting happened to me. My birthday was yesterday. But so my brother, right? He got a Switch when I got a Switch at launch, but he's not really a big gamer. So he put in like 20-30 hours into Zelda, but he didn't finish it, and he hasn't played it for like 6 months, right? So he decided to trade in his Switch, right, and get me a PS4. So
nice.
I've been thinking about getting a PS4 for a while already. I haven't picked it up. I haven't picked one up yet, right? So he decided to get me one, and I'm actually getting the special edition World War II Call of Duty that's coming out next week on Friday, right? So I'm getting the special edition PS4 with, you know, an awesome green controller and the game. I'm a big fan of zombies from Call of Duty, right? I don't like the other versions of Call of Duty, but the ones that have zombies I actually really like. So that's gonna be really cool. Nice. And then I'm gonna start streaming PS4 games as well and stuff like that. There's actually a few pretty awesome PS4 games I've been thinking about getting, like Final Fantasy 15, Resident Evil 7, a remake of Shadow of the Colossus coming out in February. Horizon Zero Dawn. So there's some games out there that I really, really want to play, and I know there's some fans of Nintendo that definitely have been eyeing games like Shadow of the Colossus, Resident Evil 7, and Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'm sure, you know, some of you guys on the channel will enjoy games like that as well when I talk about them and stream them as well. But of course, you know, I'm still going to do tons of Nintendo stuff, don't worry. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be pretty cool. But nice. I guess, you know, we're ready to jump into the news, right? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Alright, so first bit of news, right? Nintendo Switch sales. So Nintendo's, I believe, quarterly 2 report came out, and they told us some pretty interesting things. First off, you made a video about it. I haven't seen it yet, right? So if you guys want to see more up-to-detail, like, you know, news, check out What About Nintendo's channel. He posts all about different news all throughout the week, including these quarterly reports. Am I right?
Yep, I did, in fact, do that.
So 2.93 million, that's I hope that's correct, I checked the website right before. 2.93 million units were shipped during quarter 2. So all that considered, that would mean that the Switch is now at 7.63 million units shipped worldwide. And we're in like the 7th month of Switch or 8th month of Switch already.
Yeah, actually, September 30th. That only includes up to September 30th, so
okay,
7
yeah.
months.
So that's 7 months of Switch, right? That's basically a little over half a year, and the Switch has already sold more than the Wii U. Well, half of it has sold more than half of what the Wii U had. So in half a year, the Switch has sold more than half of what the Wii U did in its entire life, right? Yeah. And Nintendo has updated their forecast for Switch units for the first fiscal year from 10 million to 14 million, which means Nintendo now expects the Switch to overtake the Wii U's lifetime sales within the very first year of the Switch's life. That is awesome. That is great news. That is a very good start. And with games like Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and actual decent third-party support like Stardew Valley, Shovel Knight, Snake Pass, Rocket League, Doom, Skyrim Switch, Wolfenstein 2. You know, things are looking pretty promising, I gotta say. So I'm pretty excited about it. Do you have anything else to add to that, Brandon?
Yeah, that 14 million doesn't even include the 2.73 million that they shipped launch day. That's 14 million above everything they shipped for launch. So all the pre-orders and everything they got in store day one doesn't include any of that. So it actually put them about 16.7 million by March, which is absolutely incredible. That's about 3 million more than Wii U sold in its entire life. That's just insane.
Yeah, and I imagine that the bulk of that sales is going to be occurring during this month of October, but then especially November, Black Friday, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas in December. So November and December, we're going to be seeing a lot of new Switch owners. You know, maybe doubling is kind of an extreme, but within 2 months, a sizable, the Switch's like audience is going to nearly double, right? According to the forecast. Which is kind of crazy. So come the beginning of January 2018, for what we all expect for the Nintendo's big new direct, there's gonna be a lot of new viewers, and a lot more people are gonna be looking at some potential new games that we'll be seeing. But we'll save that for another day, maybe next week. Who knows? Yeah, so it's pretty good news. This is great. I mean, it's just more signs the Switch is selling well, more third-party support, more games, higher budget titles, because if there's an audience for it, they will put more money into these games. They'll have more confidence in bringing out games to the platform, right? That is not what we saw with the Wii U. We never got a Metroid Prime game. We got 3D World, which is a low-budget 3D Mario game, especially compared to Mario Odyssey, right? It took like 5 years to get Breath of the Wild. And aside from that, and maybe Xenoblade, we didn't get any big adventure games from Nintendo, and we barely got anything from third parties either. But with the Switch's ever-growing, audience and so many units getting out there, more developers are going to feel very confident putting out their biggest and best games on the system, which is really exciting. Yo, Son Gohan, what's up, man? He actually said, he's just saying, oh, you give it a 10 out of 10. So Son Gohan gives Mario Odyssey a 10 out of 10. He's not going to spoil anything, but you already beat the final boss. No, nice. Sweet. Yeah, I mean, I'm taking my time with the game, but I hope to have a review out for Mario Odyssey soon. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's get more down into some of the rest of the news, right? So, let's talk about Rocket League. Rocket League recently, it's been announced that it's going to be coming out November 14th, so the middle of November. Another port coming out in November for the Nintendo Switch. They went ahead to say that it has all the features that you would expect in Rocket League, but even comes with some special Nintendo content in a Mario, Luigi, and Samus car, right? And the Switch will have cross-play with PC and Xbox owners. So if you play Rocket League on Xbox, PC, or Nintendo Switch, you'll be able to play with each other online. So that's a pretty popular game that a lot of people have, and being able to do cross-play like that, pretty cool. And this is looking like to be a solid port for only $20. So with a whole bunch of content in there, it's looking like a really good deal. I'm probably going to pick it up. What about you, Brandon?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll pick up Rocket League. I already have it on my Xbox One, and I don't even play it on that much. But I guess if I had it on the Switch, I might play it more, or I'd play it with viewers or on the go. A lot more places where you can play it.
Right, the portability factor does help.
Yeah. Plus, I just don't like gaming in my living room. I just like gaming in my room, sit down, just right on my desk. So maybe I'd play it more if I got it on the Switch. I don't know. Personally, there's just so many games to get. I probably won't get that game since I already own it on another system. And especially since it comes out right around Doom and Skyrim coming on the Switch. Just like too many games, man. That is just a packed month for third-party games. It's crazy.
Definitely. I mean, this week, Doom. It's Doom. I'm really excited about Doom. We got Skyrim coming and Rocket League. Those are 3 games I expect to get, and I think it's just that in and of itself is just too much, because Skyrim just takes hours and hours and hours, and it's just kind of crazy. I'm still haven't gotten Xenoverse, and still haven't gotten NBA 2K games I plan on getting, and then of course there are the games that are coming out for the other systems as well. There's tons of games coming out in November. It's one of the reasons why I wish, this is kind of my job, so I'd have more time to play games, right? Because I'll be getting paid to do it. But there's a lot of games, so I think a lot of people are going to be finding a really good lineup on any system, especially the Switch, come November. So, yeah. But there is more coming this year. Of course, we know about Xenoblade, but a lot of people are starting to write off the possibility of Breath of the Wild, the DLC coming out this year, even though that's when it was targeted. Because there's no talk or mention of it at all by Nintendo since DLC 1 was released. However, a recent interview has come out from Kotaku with Reggie Fils-Aimé, you know, the head of Nintendo of America. And he basically told us that, yeah, well, it's coming still. It's still coming. However, he did imply that it will not be coming with the Amiibo coming November 10th. But it is still coming. And the thing with DLC, they could launch it any day. In fact, Nintendo could release a trailer on the YouTube channel tomorrow or a post on Twitter and say, hey, here's a trailer for the Breath of the Wild DLC 2. It's coming out in a week. They could do that at any point at this entire year, right? But according to Reggie Fils-Aimé, it is still slated for this year. There's nothing to worry about. We're still going to be able to get that Breath of the Wild DLC Pack 2 this year. And that's really good news to me, especially since a lot of people have already paid money for the DLC, and it came with the promise that DLC Pack 2 would come by the end of the year, right? So if they made people pay, right, and didn't keep up with that promise, that would be a little bit of a problem, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't, I mean, nothing bad would happen, but, you know, people would be upset. Like, that's one thing for a game to get delayed, which Zelda is known for, getting delayed, but Zelda's never delayed with people having paid for it already, you know? People have paid for the DLC already, knowing or expecting DLC 2 to come out by the end of the year, you know, holiday time. So if it were to be delayed, there'd be a lot of very upset people. Even if the Nintendo Switch's lineup is amazing, and you will probably be hard pressed to find time with playing all the other games like Mario Odyssey and Xenoblade and Skyrim, right? But nevertheless, you know, people have paid for this. They should get it when they were told they were going to get it. So I'm glad that it is coming by the end of the year. So I guess we'll see. Any day now, we're going to be hearing more about Breath of the Wild DLC Pack 2. I can't wait. So, you have anything to add to that, Brandon?
Yeah, as someone who's paid for the DLC already, I don't think I'd be too upset if they delayed it, if they promised that there were new content like coming because of the delay, but I'd rather have it come out this year. But personally, I hope it comes out like late December, because I just wanted to give it a wide berth from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I'm going to be wanting to play that game for so long, and I'm not going to be like, Xenoblade.
What day is Xenoblade coming?
Zelda, December 1st.
I hope it's like they could do it. They could do it like December 14th or something, 15th. Wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know? I think it needs to come out before Christmas. It definitely needs to come out before Christmas.
Yeah, probably.
It definitely needs to come out before Christmas.
Too much stuff. New games,
There's
new
way
DLC.
Too much. Way too much.
All that stuff.
Yeah. So, I guess we're done with the news. Is there any other interesting news that have come out in the last few days that we should talk about, you think, Brandon? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Nope.
No.
No, not really. Okay. So then let's get into, I guess, a bit of a quickie sort of Halloween segment. Not that it's a big deal to me, right? But, you know, some people appreciate it. And Brandon, we were talking earlier. There were actually a few interesting moments I've had that you sort of made me think about that I've played some games in the past that have given me quite a scare. So, I guess I'll come up with one, unless you have one in mind, Brandon. Do you want
to? If you're not ready, I have one that I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's not really I haven't really played that many horror games, but there have been some games, especially when I was young, that like scared the heck out of me at all times. Ocarina of Time scared me a lot of different times, because they had like ghosts in that game. They had that part where you like when you put the Master Sword in, the Redeads. Those things terrified me. You go in, Hyrule Castle Town's all great. You go into the Temple of Time, you put this sword in, you come back, you're all expecting everything to be all fine, and everything's gone to crap. Like, everything's destroyed.
And it's dark and gloomy and spooky.
Yeah.
And they can just jump on you and suck the life out of you. And they're everywhere, right? So you have to be really smart about where you run around, too.
Yeah. Their scream is so terrifying to a 6-year-old little boy running around trying to play Zelda. Like, that game just is scarring.
Yeah, and it's funny because, like, your quickest escape is to run towards the castle, right? Not the other way. So you see all these redeads, and you're like, oh my god, where do I go? So you run towards the castle, right? You run towards the castle, and you have that quick scene where you see everything just destroyed and in blazes, and there's a giant pit of lava with this floating ominous castle. You're like, oh god, everything's screwed up. And
what happened while I was asleep?
This was your escape, you know? So yeah, it's actually a pretty cool moment. I actually can't think of any. I'm not sure any of my moments are as iconic as that, but so here's one, and it's pretty simple. So like if any of you have ever played Turok for the Nintendo 64, like there were these moments where you'd be traveling around and there'd be mazes and ruins and such. Sometimes you go through dark corridors, and there was like these giant like hulking golems that would just pop out of the wall, like burst through the wall right in front of you in these dark rooms, and they were huge, like the sizes of an elephant or something, and you have to use like all your like ammo and weaponry just to destroy it, and they could pop out at any moment from a wall and scare the crap out of you, as they've done with me. So I would literally jump out of my seat when I would be playing Turok as a little kid, and I would be playing it like in the dark at night, so it was pretty terrifying to me. Now, what's funny about that, though, is that the team who made Turok eventually, went through some changes and became Retro Studios, and they made Metroid Prime. And Metroid Prime, although it may not be a horror game, has some pretty creepy and scary moments, because you literally are going through dark corridors all the time. So there are moments on going through and playing Metroid Prime where you have the invisible space pirates, and you're just like, oh my god, where do I go, where do I go? Or there are rooms that are just completely pitched out black because the energy went out, and I feel scared because you have like the surround sound, and you hear like the space pirates going like right behind you, and you're just like running because you don't want to get hit and you can't see anything. So like, yeah, it's been pretty terrifying for me, but I also love it at the same time because it's like exhilarating, and it's something that I hope that I kind of see in Metroid Prime 4, like more of those like atmospheric, spooky sort of scenarios, right? Actually, it'd be awesome. Like, what if they give a real weird mix-up to Metroid Prime and they make it, I'm not going to say like straight up horror, right? Like guts and blood everywhere, but they make it like a scary game. Maybe so scary that it could be defined as a horror game. What do you think about that?
Maybe so.
Just an idea. Like,
I don't know. It could be very interesting because you think a lot of the things Samus does would be terrifying if you were actually Samus. So making it a horror game could add some good elements, or having horror elements. I don't know if, obviously I don't think it would be just a horror game, because that wouldn't really, I'd be almost disappointed.
Well,
I'm not too big on horror games, but having horror elements in the game is something that's good for the series.
Well, like, when I say that, I don't mean like Resident Evil 0, right, where you're walking around really slowly and you have no ammo. Not like that, right? But, with a lot of elements. Yeah, a lot of elements, a lot of dark corridors, a big emphasis on, just kind of a lot of what we got in Metroid Prime, but take it maybe to another level,
Yeah.
Of course, you still have your open moments, your beautiful moments, things like that, your fights, your epic scenes, all of that too. But, Metroid Prime, a lot of it is about, like, that dark, gloomy atmosphere that, that is kind of scary. Like, kind of like Predator or Alien, you know what I mean? Yeah. Right? Like, that's kind of where a lot of Metroid Prime was inspired by that. So, if they sort of harped on those ideas, like the idea that there could be, like, some sort of monster crawling above the ceiling in these dark corridors, like, that could be epic, and that is technically like a big part of the original Metroid inspiration, So
they could use HD Rumble as well,
dude,
and make it feel like things are like crawling next to you.
Yeah,
that'd be so cool.
Yeah, actually, it's really, I mean, we'll talk about some of the HD Rumble later, but, like, our Mario Odyssey has kind of made me realize just how good HD Rumble actually could be. Because the first, like, big Switch game that's taken an advantage of HD Rumble, and I'm like, oh my god, there's actually some crazy things here. But we'll talk about that later. I like the idea of using HD Rumble in a Metroid Prime game that has a lot of horror elements, that's really using that whole Alien original inspiration from the original Metroid, like, that's, like, we have an idea here, bro. Like, this could be its own discussion, maybe we should do that. Maybe do, like, a little collaboration video where we get, like, the biggest, like, Metroid YouTubers, and we just talk about...
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But we'll worry about that later. There's actually another moment that's really interesting to me. So, Resident Evil 4, one of my favorite games of all time, and maybe the best GameCube game. right? It is so good. There was this moment, actually I wasn't even playing, right? My friend was playing, and we were at his house, and there was 3 of us, right? He was playing, so it was me and another friend. We were like, I don't remember, well, this was like back in 2005? Yeah, 2005, and so I was really young, you know, this was like more than 12 years ago, so we were in this living room, right? It was the middle of the day, so it wasn't like a scary environment at all, but we get to one of the final bosses at the castle, right? And this giant, like, bloody, gudgy mess just comes out of nowhere. And we're very impressionable at this age, so, like, my friend and I, who aren't playing, we literally jumped up in fear and we're hugging each other, screaming at the top of our lungs. We're like, oh my god, what the hell is it? It, like, freaked us out, because you just see this giant thing pop out of this man's body, and it just becomes this giant, like, you just think you're screwed. Like, there's no hope for you at all.
Oh, that's terrifying.
And it's only topped by a moment that happens earlier in the game when you're stuck inside a barn, and there's this other dude who completely kicked your ass earlier, and then he just explodes out of his robe, and he has, like, these claws and guts everywhere, and he's, like, jumping in the ceiling, so you don't know where he is. You're, like, running around, you think he's gonna, like, cut off your head at any given point, which you can do. So it's, like, gruesome and scary, but it's also one of the reasons why I love Resident Evil 4. I don't necessarily always love horror games, or horror movies, I should say, but when something's done really well, I appreciate it a lot, like Resident Evil 4. So, yeah, those are some of the scary moments I've had in video games. Is there anything else that you might have, Brandon?
As far as scary...
Is it Luigi's Mansion? Is that your scariest game of all time?
No. As far as specific scary moments, I don't really have it, but games that just used to scare me as a kid, definitely Majora's Mask. I never owned the game as a kid, but I'd play it like at my uncle's house, and that game scared the hell out of me at all times. And Luigi's Mansion is also pretty scary, but I don't really have any specific moments in this game, so I was too scared to play them.
It definitely has really good atmosphere, for sure. So, quick shout-outs to both Josh and Tasumi Kimishima. Actually, Josh was asking me if I could talk about Smash Brothers. It's coming. If we have time at the end of the discussion, I'll get more into that. I think it's coming. I think it's coming out sometime next year, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say for now. Let's see what else other people are saying. So I can go on talking about Ghosts and Goblins would scare him when he was little. Interesting. You know, I've never played Ghosts and Goblins, but I've heard a lot about it. Was that come on the N64, or was that a Super Nintendo game?
I think Ghosts and Goblins, I thought it was an NES game.
Like the original NES?
Or maybe it was Ghost and...
I've heard the title.
NES? Was it
like,
that Ghost
I've heard
and
the title
Goblins?
many times.
I think it was on the NES Classic. I think so. Probably.
Well,
I know he had an NES. I don't know.
Well,
I think it was NES.
We'll get back to it. Well, actually, I'm literally going to Google it right now. I have it right in front of me. I should know this.
Oh, nice. Was Silent Hill
Yeah,
on
it came out.
Nintendo?
It was the original NES game.
Was Silent Hill on Nintendo?
Silent Hill.
I think it was. I believe they
had
that
what?
on the GameCube.
Okay, I think there was like a Silent Hill port on Wii. Like they probably probably ported a PS2 Silent Hill version to Wii. I'm not sure about GameCube.
I think they had it on GameCube too. I don't remember. I never played it, but I thought they had one on GameCube.
And there's I'm
pretty sure they have one on Nintendo's console at some point.
At some point, I'm betting it was the Wii. For sure.
That could be true.
Yeah. So, I guess let's just move on to the Mario Odyssey segment. Unless, if anyone has any scary memories, you can put it in the chat, and we'll get back to it at a certain point if you want to talk about that later. So, we both have Mario Odyssey, and I think we both agree. I think almost everyone agrees that the game is absolutely amazing. I'm loving the heck out of this game. This game is making me giddy, man. Like, it's making me feel like a kid. I feel more optimistic about life. Like, it's literally making everything better, bro. It's just such a good game. And obviously, I'm not giving any specifics right now. I will get into specifics soon. But the game is just, like, fun, man. Like, I don't have any qualms with it at all. Well, maybe one or two, but we'll worry about that later. Yeah. And, but it's such a solid, polished game. Like, even if it isn't better than Breath of the Wild, I think it's a better Switch game, if that makes any sense. Now, let me elaborate. What I mean is that you can tell that Mario Odyssey was developed for the Nintendo Switch. It had that in mind. you know? Like, they even take advantage of the Switch's, like, you know, snapshot feature, right? Like, so there are clues that you go to certain levels, and like, there's like a picture frame, and they're like, hey, take a snapshot of this, right? And check your album later, so you can use this as a clue in a different level. Which is, like, something that's kind of weird to me, because I've never seen another game make a reference to, like, pressing the snapshot button, you know, but it's like, hey, this snapshot button is totally useful as a tool to use for different clues later in the game. That's just an interesting thing. It's like, oh yeah, of course they did that, you know. I've never really seen that for the Switch game. Have you, Brandon?
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is there's one shrine in Zelda Breath of the Wild. They're on the Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah.
Shrines. But that's also on the Wii U, so I'm like, how do you beat this on the Wii U? You pull out, like, your camera and, like, take a picture, and you just have to have really good memory or something.
Yeah, right.
Or write it down. Like, that's gotta be super inconvenient for Wii U users.
Yeah, and it's not like they tell you to do it in Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah, they don't.
In Mario Odyssey, they literally tell you, hey, you should take a snapshot of this.
I've never seen that before in a game, no.
Right, and it's just really cool. But another thing that's really interesting is, as we mentioned earlier when we were talking about horror elements for Metroid Prime, is the idea of, well, it's an idea for Metroid Prime, but it's actual fact for Breath for Odyssey, is the HD Rumble. Like, the HD Rumble is not anything you can play on any other system. You can never get that on any other system, and it's just like, it's interesting. It doesn't, like, for example, when you're riding the scooter, it actually feels like you're kind of revving it up, and even when you're standing still, you feel like the rumble. But it's not just a normal rumble. There's varying degrees of rumble. There's like a different quality and texture to it as well. And then there are even rooms where you're walking around, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, like, you can feel, like, the varying intensities where you go. You can kind of tell where certain items are that you slam on the ground to get them. So I've just never had an experience with HD Rumble like this before. Like, it is proving to me that HD Rumble is totally a great feature, and it can definitely add to a game. And it really does actually add to the experience of Mario Odyssey. What do you think? Do you agree with me, or do you feel differently about the HD Rumble?
No, I love HD Rumble. It's just like, put HD Rumble in everything. It's like, that is definitely a selling point for games on the Switch, is HD Rumble. It's like, whenever I'm like, okay, should I buy this on this console, I look, does it have HD Rumble? And I'm just like, if it has HD Rumble and it's used well, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to buy it on Switch. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I want HD Rumble. You feel so naked when you turn it off, because I tried playing Mario Odyssey and I was like, okay, you know, I don't always notice that the HD Rumble's there, but when I do, it feels really nice. And then I was like, well, I wonder if I turn it off, if I would notice. I turned it off, I was like, no, I can't play this game anymore with HD Rumble off. I was just like, no.
No, the game like uses HD Rumble all the time, right? But you have to understand, HD Rumble isn't just like straight up vibrations. No, it's like different varying degrees, but it's not just intensity, it's like quality, right? Like sometimes the Rumble just feels different. It kind of gives you a kind of a sense of texture, right? Like when you're running through sand, you kind of can tell that you're sort of running through sand a little bit, you know? Or like I said, when you're on a scooter, you actually feel like you're on a scooter. It feels like if you've ever ridden like a moped or, you know, like a go-kart or something, when you feel like the constant vibrations of like one of those little like engines, that's what you feel when you're on this little scooter in New Donk City. And it's just like, that's not something you'll ever feel in a game, on a console game. You'll have to like go to an arcade, maybe, and maybe you might find an arcade that's like that. Maybe. It's like a rare thing. So it's really cool. But there is something that's like, that could really basically only be done on Switch that I actually don't necessarily love. And that's the motion controls. Now I've heard some people are actually really excited about it. I love the motion controls. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. It's like the only thing about the game that I don't love. It's just kind of like there, and I'm okay with it. And I've tried playing with the Joy-Cons, but I honestly prefer playing with a Pro Controller. And it works. Like whenever I have to do a spin attack, I can just do this. Oh, like I just did it now, because the game is on. And you know, it works and it's fine, but it's like, it doesn't feel intuitive to me. It just kind of feels like a little thing to do. But like I said, it doesn't feel bad. It works every time I have to do it. It's just, I don't know, I just kind of don't want to have to do this while I'm playing. I'd rather just kind of, you know, it feels a little unnatural to do this for me. Even when I play with the Joy-Cons, I have to like move both Joy-Cons to the side to do the spin attack. Maybe I just haven't had enough time with it, but I don't know. Yeah, it's not bad. Like I said, it's just kind of okay. Everything else about the game is amazing, and that's like the one thing to me, it's just like, alright, it's there. But the interesting thing about the motion controls, right, is that even though I personally don't love them, right? The game is designed in a way where you don't have to use them ever at all, like not one bit, and you will have basically no disadvantage whatsoever. The only thing is that there are a lot of like circular things like coins and such that if you do the spin attack, you can get them all very easily and quickly. So I do that, and for the most part, it's natural enough that I do that. I don't really have any problems with it. So, but there are like some other motion control techniques that I don't even bother to do, that I never need them, right? So I don't do them, and it's fine. And my experience has not been hampered in any way. So I guess it's smart that they designed the game that way. And that's the thing that I think is really special with Mario Odyssey. They've been really smart about how they designed this game because it kind of appeals to everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Personally, I really like the motion controls because I like doing the little homing attack. You just flick it and then you flick it again, it homes to whatever is closest, and I like that attack. I don't know, I feel like it's really easy to use, and it feels natural, like if I was throwing a hat in real life, except not as crazy a motion. So I don't know, I've just felt...
Do you use the Joy-Con straps?
No, because
okay.
I don't see a point. I just kind of just kind of flick it.
It does make the controllers a little bigger, but I don't... Maybe I'll give it another try. But I played for like half an hour with the Joy-Cons. I didn't
I actually played all of the gameplay I've played with separate Joy-Cons, and I really like it. So I don't know. It feels more like I'm actually playing or actually doing the motion.
You know what's possible, though? I started playing the game with a Pro Controller, and then I decided to give the Joy-Cons a try. And I got used to playing the game with the Pro Controller, right? So maybe there's a bit of awkwardness by transitioning between the Pro Controller and the Joy-Cons, because it is different. They do feel different, you know?
Yeah.
But even like I said, the motion controls on the Pro Controller are fine. Like, I don't use any of the other techniques except for the spin attack, and it works, you know, consistently. So I never really have a problem with it. I've never gotten hit by something when I decide to use a spin attack. I always get it done when I need to. So yeah, it works. Now I want to kind of harp on like how smart the game's like designed, right? So for example, if you don't want to rush through the game, you don't have to. You can like stay in one world for hours, because these different worlds can be explored for hours, and you're still going to be finding things, right? But there are other people, they can just blaze through the story, beat the game, it'll be pretty easy, and it'll be fine. But if you're a hardcore Mario fan, you can continue to find more and more moons, and as you go beyond just the normal story, you'll realize there's a lot of actual challenging moments in the game, right? So it's not like... The game isn't easy. When people say the game is easy, it's because all they did is the story mode. Yeah, you can do the story mode and it's kind of easy, right? But if you actually go out and explore, there's a lot of challenging moons. And I love that. So basically, the game's been constructed in a way where it appeals to everyone. If you don't like motion controls, you don't need them. But if you do, hey, look, you can do some neat stuff with it, you know? If you want a very hard and lengthy adventure, you're going to explore the heck out of every single world, right? And not necessarily rush to the story mode. Or you can come back or go forth however you want it. And you can even like do things in certain different orders, and you don't always have to beat every single boss. You can kind of skip ahead sometimes if you have enough moons. So the game is very open-ended, kind of like Breath of the Wild to a certain degree, although there's, you know, a bit, you know, there is still a linearity to it to some extent, but you can always go back to different worlds and explore more. So I like that. I mean, how have you been experiencing the game, Brandon?
Yeah, personally, I started out trying to like get almost everything, or at least explore a world for like an hour or two before I left it. But now I'm just like, I'm hearing all these rumors and stuff about how the story like takes a turn and like does some cool stuff, and I'm just like, I don't want to get spoiled. I don't want to be like going through YouTube and accidentally just get spoiled and just like, ah, crap. So I'm probably just gonna speed through the story and then just, okay, this is what the story is, and then just start a new save, or just continue exploring after that, which is like totally not how I want to do the game. But now that I know that there's some story elements and stuff, I'm just like, I guess I have to now.
I've heard that there's some pretty interesting and entertaining moments that happen within the story, and I can't necessarily, I'm not going to speak to that because one, I haven't been there, and two, even if I did, I don't want to spoil it for people.
Yeah.
But from what I have experienced so far, by the way, I'm at the, let me just check right now. Can I check right now? Yeah. So I've explored the, well, there's a lot of kingdoms. I've explored the Cap Kingdom a fair degree. You can actually go back and explore it. Which is the very first kingdom. Cascade Kingdom a lot, Sand Kingdom a lot, Lake Kingdom a lot, Wooded Kingdom a lot, Cloud Kingdom I haven't explored, Lost Kingdom a lot, Metro Kingdom a lot, Seaside Kingdom a lot, and I'm about to go to the snowy one, right? So I've explored, like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've explored the heck out of, well, there's a small kingdom that I haven't explored that much, but I've explored 9 kingdoms, and I've explored for hours upon hours 8 of them. And there's another one I know I'm going to, and I know there's still, like, I might have only seen like half the kingdoms, maybe less. So this game is huge. And for the record, the kingdoms that I explored like crazy, like there's still a lot of moons left. Like I looked at the list to see how much I've gotten. There's like, if I put in like 4 or 5 hours into one kingdom, I might still have like 15 moons left to explore afterwards, which is kind of crazy. And once I find all the purple coins and everything, there's still like moons still to find. I'm like, where could they be? I do imagine that some of it might be related to the post game, but still, there are moons that you would never expect where they can be, which is interesting to me. Like, yeah, there's a lot of easy moons to find, but there are so many of them, and they're put in a way where like it just kind of encourages like exploration, right? It appeals to your curiosity. Like you always see interesting moments all over the place, and it's just like weird. Like if a game encourages you to do like weird stuff all the time, which I love. I love trying to exploit the game, right? But the design is so smart that sometimes when I think I'm trying to exploit the game actually intended for me to do that at some point, you know? Even something as simple as, like, I was in Metroid Kingdom, and I was looking for a star because I, like, spoke to the toad to kind of give me a hint, right? And I saw this area, I was like, there's nothing here. But I saw a bench with a dude just sitting down, and I was like, okay. And I sat down next to him. Right, and he's like, oh my god, no one in this town is nice at all. No one ever sits next to me. I'm always so lonely. But you sat next to me in this bustling city. You're a nice person. Here you go. Like, I'm just like, what? Really? You know, it's just kind of like, the game is like encouraging you to just do all sorts of like weird stuff. It's just awesome. Brian, did I lose you? Can't hear you. It looks like we lost Brandon? Maybe. Yeah, I think Brandon is gone. Looks like his camera may have frozen. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and invite him again to the chat. Not the chat, the Google Hangout. It's weird. This is what happens when you do it live. Mistakes happen. Let's see if I can get Brandon back. I'm gonna try to get Brandon back. But I can't even find my mouse. Alright. Yeah, but Brandon is... He seems to be gone for some reason. I'm going to send him another link, see if he gets back on. Then I'll just, like, I'll go back to the chat and, like, see what you guys have been saying, kind of refer to them. Alright, I'll send him another invitation link, and let's see if he can make it back. If not, we'll figure it out. Alright. I'll wait until he gets back. So I'm going to look at the chat. What have you guys been saying? So, Sangon, you were saying, like, you were talking about how you like playing with a friend. The thing is about, for me, like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Because I've thought about trying out, I guess, girlfriend mode, right? The co-op mode. But I'm afraid that if I play with someone, I'm not going to like it. It's going to make the game easy. And the person I'm playing with is going to want to continue playing with me, and I won't be able to get rid of them. Like, that's literally what I'm afraid of. But I'm sure I'll give it a try sooner or later. But you're telling me it's good then, I guess, right? Yeah. Okay, I'll have to give it a try, even though I don't want to. So Tatsumi Kimishima, you said... Okay, so you were towards the end of the game, and you had, like, a what the heck is happening moment. I've heard that there's, like, some crazy stuff that happens towards the end of the game. And I don't know what it is. I really want to find out. I don't know. But from what I've seen so far of the game, like, the different worlds kind of, like, expand, and they're really interesting. So, Like there's like a dynamic that happens. Like in the Metroid Kingdom, you accomplish certain things, and then you have there's like a musical show at the end, and it's just a really beautiful cinematic moment. It's like really like cherishing the history of Mario, especially the original Donkey Kong. So it's really, really cool, and well, yeah, I love it. So I can see how there could be some really crazy dramatic moments towards the future of, well, you know, later on in the game. Wait. So I haven't used my any amiibo yet. So Sun Gohan, you're saying that the Mario amiibo from Smash gives you the classic uniform. I have to try that out. Oh, and then the Bowser amiibo tells you the location of all the purple coins. Oh, okay, so Kimishin, you're saying that multiplayer mode is just kind of for screwing around. Yeah, it's not kind of one of the things I didn't like about 3D World. Like, if you play with someone else, you just kind of screwed around all the time. Like, it made it hard to just focus on platforming, you know, which is what I love doing. I'd rather just kind of focus and think about things. I am okay with other people, like, sitting and watching me and, like, suggesting different things to do. I don't mind that. So, but I guess I should at least give the co-op mode a try before, you know, well, we move on. So, yeah. So, Brandon's still not back. I think we lost Brandon. This might be a solo show. Yeah, there's no sign of Brandon yet. He hasn't sent me any messages. He might have lost power or something, which is kind of crazy. But where are we in the discussion? I could talk about this game, don't worry. I'm just kind of trying to see if Brandon's coming back. Doesn't look like it. Not for now. So, I guess we'll just continue. Any Bowser, just not the wedding Bowser. I haven't gotten any of the wedding themed amiibo yet. I should, but at the same time, like, I'm kind of a stickler for challenge, right? So, like, I'm really worried about even tapping in an amiibo and getting some sort of easy functionality, so I'm kind of, like, staying away from it. Like, I don't want to be told where the purple coins are. I want to find them myself, you know what I mean? So, like, I'm trying to have a very pure, raw experience of this game. I don't want anything to be spoiled for me. And the thing is, right, something that's kind of bothered me, actually, is that some of the earlier kingdoms, like, I'm exploring them, and I kind of know how to do some things because I've seen some of the trailers and some early gameplay from E3 and such. I'm like, oh, I saw some people do this, I can do that too. Overall, it was fine. Like, you know, still fun to play those parts, even though I kind of knew what to do already because I saw them, the early gameplay, you know, from E3 and such. But a small part of me is a little pissed that I kind of learned how to do some things from watching gameplay. But whatever, this is kind of part of what I do. I pay attention to games, so I know what's going on with them. So, yeah, but, okay, so a message was retracted, and I did not look at it. Good job. Cool. Alright, that's fine. Not a big deal, but, I didn't see it, so good for me. Hopefully not to move this out either if they didn't get spoiled, but I know a lot of you guys have kind of rushed through the story. I'm taking my time with it. But, you know, I do plan on having a review later in this week, so I might have to, like, binge Mario Odyssey tonight just to get through the story. I want to have the review out by Thursday, but it might have to come out Friday, because I take my time with this game. I don't know how many kingdoms I have left, but I imagine I must be at least, like, a third halfway towards the story. I'm not sure. So, actually, maybe you guys can give me an idea. So, I beat the Seaside Kingdom, and I'm about to go to the Ice one. How many kingdoms do you think are left in between there and the story end? I know there's a lot more after that. I guess, actually, you know what? Don't tell me. I'll find out by beating the game, by just playing through it. So, yeah, but anyways, the game, I hear noises. Brandon, you back?
Is I back?
You're back.
What the heck? Comcast, why are you so stupid? It just literally... My Wi-Fi shut off for absolutely no reason. Nobody accidentally turned it off. Nothing. It just decided it was just going to restart. It just was going to do that. So, sorry about that. No idea why it did that.
It's okay. I was slightly thrown off, but it's fine. We talked about some stuff. I basically just talked about how, like, I don't like getting myself spoiled by games, and then a message was retracted in the chat, but it was not intended to really be a spoiler. It's a minor spoiler. I didn't see it. So, but it was retracted, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. For some reason, YouTube still thinks there's no internet, so I can't actually see the chat.
That's okay.
It's it's interesting.
Yeah, but Sun Gohan, Tatsumi Kimishima, I've just been, like, talking with them for a little bit while you've been gone.
Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
But, you know, I mean, what we were talking about earlier, we're just kind of talking about how, like, Mario Odyssey kind of seems to appeal to everyone. Like, it's so smart in the way they've designed it that, like, you know, like I said, like, if you want to take it easy, you can take it easy. If you want to go hard, you can go hard. If you want to play it fast, you can play it fast. If you want to go in a random fashion, you can do that too. So, like, it's just an interesting way to play the game. In fact, you can even just devote yourself to playing just the mini games, you know, because the mini games have leaderboards, and you could devote your life to being #1 on the leaderboards in these different mini games.
As
like
some people have obviously done by their high scores.
Yeah, like, so if you pay attention to my Twitter, right, I posted a picture of the leaderboard. So I mean, anyone who has Mario Odyssey can see it, right? But if you don't have Mario Odyssey, check out my Twitter, right? And if you check one of the images I posted like a day or two ago, the jump rope challenge in Metroid Kingdom is insane. Like, there are people who have jumped, like, I don't remember the number. I think it was like 20,000 or something.
It was insane amounts, like thousands upon thousands.
They literally were jumping for hours over a jump rope that's going extremely fast. Like,
in a video game.
Yeah, like, you basically have to have robotic movement to beat the 100. You have to, there's, you know, if you do the jump rope challenge, right, you can get 30. If you do 30 jumps, you get a moon, which is kind of easy, but it's actually pretty hard to do 100. I managed to do 100 after a lot of trial and error and kind of, you know, training my muscles, but that wasn't easy. There are people who have done it over 20,000 times. 20,000 times.
Why?
Like, that's insane. Basically, they just press... Their thumb movement had to literally be, like, perfect. Like, you have to do the exact same movement, like, perfectly, flawlessly, in rhythm, over 20,000 times. So imagine... It almost seems as hard as, like, for example, counting to 20,000 in seconds. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of crazy that there are people who are doing that. I showed my cousin, she thinks that they have to have cheated, but, you know, people are having a hard time hacking the Switch, so I don't even think that's realistic, especially since the game just came out. Like, I don't think so, man. It's just kind of insane that some of the challenges are like that. But nevertheless, you know, if you are totally into just getting on the leaderboards, you can devote yourself to just being the jump rope master. Maybe you'll hit 30,000 one day after just playing for like 24 hours of just pressing A repeatedly in the perfect, super fast rhythm in Metroid Kingdom.
That would literally take you over 5 hours.
Yeah.
5 hours. If you jumped one rope every second, so it'd probably be like 2.5. I don't know how fast the jump rope goes, but assuming it's about 1 a second,
I mean, it gets faster. I don't know, how far have you gone?
I actually haven't gone to that mini game. The farthest I've ever been, unfortunately, I haven't got to play this game as much as I want to, mainly because I was sick. Like, I don't know if anybody saw the stream, but I was streaming Mario Odyssey, and I was just like, I want to go for like an hour or two. I went for 30 minutes. I was like, I can't. My head was so bad.
You didn't play it on your own? You have only been streaming it?
No, I've been playing it on my own a lot, but like I slept for like that day and the next day. So I have played up until I've gone through the Metroid Kingdom. I played that first segment. I won't say what it is just because spoilers, but I played that. Everybody knows if you've been to Metroid Kingdom, that first segment. Did I actually say Metroid Kingdom? Odd.
It sounded like you said Metroid Kingdom. Yeah.
It sounded like I said it, but I didn't mean to. But yeah, I've been there, and I did that first segment, and that's all I've played so far. I've been meaning to go back, but I just haven't had time, and I was like, okay, I got up, I had to make a video, and then I was like, dang, it's Halloween, better do a scary stream. Now I'm just like doing the podcast, so probably after this I'll go play some Mario Odyssey. Okay. But
yeah. What's up, Fan of Gaming? How you doing, man? Apparently Kimishima has been able to get to 49 jumps, which I was there for a while where I was just stuck at like 33, 37, and like I just kind of slowly started doing a little bit of like I would get 37, then I got to like 40, then I got to like 42, then 47, then 50, and then eventually when I broke through like 55, I was like, wait, I can continue to do this at the same pace, and I got to 100 once after many tries, but I did eventually do it too. But it's really, really hard. So the idea of someone getting to over 20,000 is just
20,000 would be insane.
It's mind blowing. It is mind blowing. Yeah. So it's just kind of I don't know how they did it, and I don't think that's one leaderboard challenge that I don't think I will try to push myself to get to the top of the world with.
I don't have that kind of time.
But you know, there is something. Yeah, I don't think any of us do. But I do think there's something that I would be interested in trying, and that might be speedrunning Mario Odyssey. I've actually thought about speedrunning Breath of the Wild too. It's just kind of like Nintendo's designing the games in such a smart way, because the games are kind of easy to play, right, for depending on how you play the game, but they also be really hard depending on how you play the game, right? But also, the games are also designed in a way where you could play it for over 100, 200 hours, right? But also, you could speedrun them. Like, you could speedrun that. They seem like really good speedrun games. I created a second file for Mario Odyssey already, because when I first got the game, I literally recorded like 3-4 hours of my initial gameplay of Mario Odyssey, right? But then my cat turned off my computer, so I lost all that gameplay. I was very upset. Nevertheless, I decided to start a new file where I would speedrun through the gameplay, right? Like, I just got a couple moons here and there, and I just went relatively quick through the story, and I caught up in about 40 minutes, you know? So, I mean, if you want to, you can beat the main segments pretty quickly, and you can do it in different ways, right? Because you don't have to get specific moons to take the ship. You can get any kind of moons you want, right? So maybe if you're speedrunning, you don't actually have to beat every boss. You'll find ways to only do certain bosses, or maybe not even any of them, right? Because you only need to do certain bosses in the game. Like, I think there's one time you fight Bowser that I've gone to so far, and aside from that, I probably would have been able to skip every single boss because I've always collected enough moons to take the ship. So finding
the very first boss. The first boss.
Yeah, and that one. But aside from that, you can pretty much, like, you know, it's from what I've played so far, you can pretty much skip every boss if you get enough moons.
Yeah, and so I actually didn't realize that. I kind of thought that was probably a thing, but I just didn't ever check to make sure that you could actually do that. So that makes sense that you could do that. I just never actually did. Yeah,
I mean, some of the bosses even have cutscenes and stuff too. You can totally skip them, right, if you get enough moons. And there's so many different kinds of moons you can get, so there are going to be speedrunners that are going to be figuring out different ways to get different moons. And what makes it even more interesting is that Mario Odyssey has more platforming options than any other Mario game before it. So figuring out different ways to, like, exploit or get to different, like, super high regions or far regions that you didn't think were possible, tons of people are going to be doing, you know? So it's a really good speedrun game because people are going to be finding different ways to play it, and, like, super fast ways to play it. And I'm interested in it. I don't know if I'll put it into the time to be a serious, like, world record speedrunner, but, you know, I might have my own personal funsy speedrunners. Maybe I'll even live stream them. So we'll see what happens with that. But the game is just designed in a very, very intelligent way, and I love it. Yeah, it's just, what's there not to love about this game? It's just incredible. Like, I love every piece of it. I can't.
Yeah, I don't think I've run into anything that I didn't think was, like, awesome. Like, it's super good.
Right,
From graphics and gameplay, it's got everything. It's the whole package. There's nothing that I've seen that's like, you know, because Zelda, they had some stuff where I was just like, I don't really like that, or it's just like, there's frame rate issues. Like, this game's just like, no, it's none of that. It's just, like, perfect, almost. Yeah,
Tatsumi Kimishima came up with, I guess it's a valid complaint for sure. I didn't think of it as annoying yet, right? But he's talking about how when you go from one kingdom to another, there are cutscenes, and now you can skip, like, pieces of them, but, like, there's, like, a conversation you have to have with Cappy inside, like, the not observatory, but the little room.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying.
So, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like, you know, there's a little bit of time in between each kingdom. But you know what's interesting, though? There's a lot of people kind of may take this for granted if they've been Switch owners for a while. You know, each of these game worlds are relatively large sandboxes with lots of things in them, right? And the Switch loads them instantaneously. My cousin was watching me play the other day, right? And she was like, "Whoa, this loads really fast," right? Because she plays mostly
screens are so quick.
She mostly plays on PlayStation, right? So, which is a disc-based system, and she doesn't.
So slow.
Yeah, cartridge-based systems don't need to load,
especially the Xbox.
Yeah. So, like, you know, it's just kind of everything's loading very quickly. So yeah, we do have the cutscene. I guess it's a valid complaint, Tatsumi Kimishima, that, you know, there are cutscenes when you go in between kingdoms, and you can skip parts of it, but it's still kind of a relatively lengthy process. Like, it might take. I think I'm pretty sure you can still do it all under a minute, for sure. But I think that the fact the Switch loads everything very quickly kind of makes up for that minor annoyance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I felt like those segments, apart from speedrunning, obviously those were annoying if you wanted to speedrun. But apart from that, I felt like they were nice little breaks where you just sat down, you talked to Cappy about what's up with the next kingdom. Like, it felt like a natural thing to do because you're actually traveling to a new area. Like,
I appreciate that. I like the narrative, right? But if you are going in between each kingdom repeatedly, right, doing every little thing, I could see how it might get a little annoying. I mean, Kimishima is saying himself, he doesn't think it's a big deal, but it is a valid minor complaint that you can't just straight up skip all of it in one go. But I mean, it could be a way to kind of mask loading times too, because the game still have to load, just not as much, or they do it. The system does it way quicker because it's cartridges.
I'm sure it's loading part of that. Part of why you're doing that.
Yeah, partially. But I do like it, and actually, so I'm actually gonna get into some of the reviews that I've listened to and read, and
I haven't done any because I've been just staying away.
I have kind of a problem with what some of the people are saying. Like, the thing is, people are still giving the game raving reviews, but there are some critiques that I've heard that I just don't agree with. So one of which is the lack of a hub world. I have no problem with that at all. I'm playing.
Me either.
I'm not saying I would have not wanted a hub world, right? But I don't think of it as a con to the game at all, because I don't miss it. I'm playing the game and I'm like, oh my god, I wish there was a hub world, that I could just run around. Because you can kind of run around doing anything in every single kingdom, and you can do a lot inside your little spaceship. Not a lot, but it's kind of fun just to run in there, play around, look in the mirror. And that's the other thing. Mario actually has a reflection. I cannot tell you how many games that have amazing graphics, super large open worlds, but do not have reflections. Like, if you look in a mirror, there's no reflection of your face. And Mario Odyssey, when you go inside that little room in your ship, you can see the reflection of Mario. He's not a vampire, Most other video games, your actual main character is a vampire. He will not have a reflection if he looks in a mirror. Fun little fact. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, but pretty much in almost every single video game that there's a mirror, there will be no reflection. So it's just kind of neat that they have that. I just like jumping around and collecting all the different trophies with all my coins and putting it in there and seeing my collection grow and then bouncing on them. It's nice, but like I said, I don't really feel the lack of a hub world. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I feel like the reason hub world was so good in 64 and it was pretty good in Sunshine, but I felt 64 was way better. Was because it was super open and huge, and the levels themselves were much smaller. But now it's every kingdom is as big as the hub world in 64 or larger. You don't need these big hub
it's definitely bigger than the hub world.
Yeah.
Well, at least more detailed.
Peach's castle is pretty huge in some ways. Peach's castle is pretty big.
It's big, but there's not that much in it.
That's true.
There's not that much in it.
I just mean it's an open area. And the levels are kind of smaller in 64 and, not as open. Well, there were some that were pretty open, but I feel like the main attraction for the hub world was just the way they had it set up. Wouldn't it make sense in Mario Odyssey? And the worlds are so much larger now, you don't need this big hub world either.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not as needed.
I don't see a need for it. I mean,
it wouldn't really make sense.
And here's the thing, right? Kimishima was bringing up earlier how it's a little annoying with the cutscenes in between when you travel between kingdoms. But think about this, right? And simply in terms of time, right? Having to go from one painting to another in Mario 64 takes way longer than what you have to do to go from one kingdom in Mario Odyssey to another, right? Which is just a relatively quick cutscene, but there's 3. Because you go into the sky, you see them talk, then you go back down. So if you think about it in that way, it's faster than 64 and having to use the hub world. The hub world kind of slows things down. I don't mind the selection screen when you're actually traveling. It's fine with me. I have no problem with it. In fact, I actually like looking at the globe of the world and sort of seeing the different landscapes and kind of trying to see something else I may be able to explore. I can see in the background, if you go to towards the beginning of the map, you can see a mushroom-shaped island, right? Which is something we've seen before the game even came out. So I'm not spoiling anything for you guys. But at any point in the game, you can look and you can see a mushroom-shaped island or continent on the globe. And I suspect I'll be able to see, actually play there at some point. Maybe we'll see, right? I'm pretty sure, but I'm not gonna, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But still, it's just kind of cool to see that they have stuff like that. In fact, I heard before the game came out that there is a map that showed an indication of Isle Delfino as well. So if we could explore Isle Delfino, that would also be really cool, you know. So I like what we have so far. I don't miss a hub world, but I wouldn't mind it. I'm just saying I don't miss it. So I don't feel like it's a valid complaint. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think for this game it wouldn't make sense. Like the Odyssey is part of the story. Like it just makes sense. It's even in the name. Like it doesn't make sense for this game to have a hub world, anyways.
Right.
Like,
actually,
they could reconstruct some things and make it into a hub world, but the story, the way it is, just makes sense that you would not have a hub world. So.
Yeah, actually, Sean is in the chat from Monolith Gaming, and he's talking about like the reason he loved the hub world so much is because he explored Peach's Castle, which is true. I love exploring Peach's Castle, but if what I'm theorizing is right, then there's the Mushroom Island, and some people may already know this already. You know, don't spoil it for anyone, but we might even be able to explore the Mushroom Kingdom, which may include Peach's Castle. I don't know, but you know, if we can explore it anyways, you know, let's just kind of like, what does it matter if there's a hub world or not, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I want to go actually to some of the comments that were made here.
Okay.
So Son Gohan actually brought up that he's glitched the game twice so far, which in his opinion doesn't seem like much. I actually noticed one glitch, and that is when I'm in the Seaside Kingdom. Right there, when I was going through like this hidden back valley, and I found like some item cubes around the floor. I hit them, and a heart came out. Right. But I noticed that there were like red lights like shooting out of the cliff. And it almost looked like an effect of the heart. But even when I got the heart, there were still like red lights like kind of glistening through some of the rocks. Which is weird. It wasn't like bad or anything. But there was like, you know, like this occasional like red light glimmer like shooting through the rocks. I thought there might be some sort of weird moon there. There was nothing. It was a glitch. But it was a really rare and cool looking glitch, you know. Aside from that, I haven't noticed anything. The game's extremely polished, and you know, Breath of the Wild for an open world game is very polished. Most open world games are glitchy. Kingdom Come. Mario Odyssey isn't an open world game, but it does have these sandbox worlds. So these worlds have a lot of things going on in them. And the fact that people are not really finding too much wrong with them, that everything seems super polished. You know, it's just an example of that Nintendo thing. Nintendo makes really polished and fluid games. So, I love it. There is something, though, that I do think is a valid critique that I've heard in reviews. And that is the frame rate issue in Metroid Kingdom. Now, the game runs like super smooth everywhere. And when you're playing in Metroid Kingdom, like, you know, the movement around Mario is fine. But when you do move around the camera, and I'm someone who moves around the camera a lot, right? I did notice a bit, like I did notice a frame rate drop as I was moving around. Like I noticed it. I did notice it.
Yeah.
And I normally don't notice frame rate drops. Like in Breath of the Wild, I'm like, okay, everything seems fine to me. Gotta just run through the grass. You know, but for whatever reason, when I was moving around the camera in Metroid Kingdom, there were a couple moments where like, hey, that looks a little weird. But not a big deal. For the most part, you know, I've put in like at least 5 hours into Metroid Kingdom, and I noticed it a couple times. And it wasn't like, oh my god, what's going on here? It's just like, oh, the background looks a little weird. You know? Like, that's it.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a real, you know, but I have noticed that. It is a valid complaint, but it's a complaint that's so minor. Which, for the record, I'm not saying reviews have, like, given Mario Odyssey, like, a 6 out of 10 or something because they saw minor frame rate drops in Metroid Kingdom. No, people are mentioning it, but they're not really docking the game for it because it's so insignificant, right? But it is real, it is there, and I agree with that. But there's actually something that I've heard from Andre Seegers that's kind of really bothering me. So I watched his review before I got the game, and for the record, Andre Seegers from Game Explained loves Super Mario Odyssey. They literally created a new rating to just describe how much they love Mario Odyssey, right? But he said he doesn't like the Lakeside Kingdom. He thinks it should have been combined with the Seaside Kingdom, and
no,
I don't agree at all. I'm just like, what? Like, I was playing the Lakeside Kingdom, and I was wondering, oh, is this the water world he was talking about that isn't good? right?
It was so good.
I loved the heck out of it. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about, right? And of course, I get to Seaside Kingdom, the other water world, which is the bigger one, right? And I love the heck out of that one too. Like, I think they're all really good and they feel different. They were
Water worlds and Mario actually being good. What is this?
What? Nah, of course they're good, man. Sunshine had they were all water worlds. I was actually thinking about that earlier. The Sunshine was like a water-based game entirely. So if there's an Isle Delfino, there will be another water world. But it's not like the water is the most. Well, in these two kingdoms, water is a big part of the game. But I like the Seaside Kingdom because the way it's constructed, like they have these special like flowers you can grab onto that shoot you through, right? And between the enemies that you can actually transform into, like it's almost like there is tons of water, but you know what I mean. You can kind of like ride the coast. Actually, I don't know if you even played that, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna shy away from the Seaside Kingdom just in case.
No, I haven't gotten there yet.
I'm gonna just back away from that. But there's just a lot of really, really cool moments that they've designed. Like every kingdom feels different, and that's another thing. Every kingdom feels completely different, and they all have their own art style, their own feel to them, their own secrets, and I love it. And I love the map because if you have a map, right, and then you have it's like a brochure, so you can see a whole bunch of like pamphlets and details that talk about different like tourist spots that you should check out, right? Which kind of gives you hints to like maybe different things that you may want to focus on or look around to kind of get an understanding of how that kingdom works, you know, and obviously eventually find moons. So it's really cool, and I love how it's all put together. I love everything about. I mean, I've pretty much gone over. Thing. Yeah, I've gone over all my critiques so far, I guess.
Yeah, it makes it feel so much more like real, I guess, or just like that. You could believe that these are actual worlds. Just having brochures there, or brochures, whichever one, however you pronounce that word. Just having those, and you like read random facts about it. That sometimes they help you with moons, and sometimes they're just like really cool flavor text. Yeah. That just builds the world, and it's just like you didn't have to put this in. You could just put a generic map, and no, they went and they put this super cool map in there. Just like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Have you spoken to the Sphinx yet?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you? He's actually in multiple locations. Yeah. Have you spoken to him more than once? Do you talk to him after you answered the original question?
No, I didn't know you could.
Yeah, you can talk to him again. He asks you different questions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang.
And he has some really funny responses too, so you should check it out. It's hilarious. I don't think you can get a moon for it, or maybe you can and I did it wrong. But you should talk to him. There's some really interesting conversation with him. So that's another thing I want to talk about. I love the characters in Mario Odyssey. The world, like as you were saying, Brandon, the world building is really strong. Like you have the brochures. Every kingdom still feels really different. It looks really different. It's really fresh, and they have like their own unique enemies. But like even the characters in the NPCs in the world, like I feel like, you know, every world is a world. You know, I feel like it's a world. Now, it's just kind of fun to explore, and I love all the different kinds of characters. Like when you're in the Sand Kingdom, all the Samba de Amigo sort of little skeleton guys are like really funny and just kind of cutesy and moving around. It's just cool. It's just cool. And I love it when you go to the different shops right now. I actually love the shop music. I think it's great. You just kind of see everyone wearing the giant like purple and yellow hats. It's cool. It kind of like it unites everything, which is also something I really like, right? So every world feels really different, right? But there's still this sense that you're in this globe, and it's like everyone kind of knows about the different kingdoms. You know what I mean? Right? Yeah. Like in the Sand Kingdom, you find a taxi cab, and you're like, oh my god, I'm from Metroid Kingdom, but I'm supposed to pick up someone here. You know? So like
freaking Frozen.
Yeah, exactly. So like this guy's like, oh, I need to go to that other kingdom, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I've seen some segments where there are some characters that you'll see in one kingdom, and after you accomplish some stuff, you'll find them in another kingdom. So there actually are characters that are talking about other kingdoms and going to different kingdoms. So there's like this connection. Yeah. And actually, there's more than a deeper connection than even that, because some of the kingdoms actually have like paintings, and you can jump into the paintings, kind of like Mario 64 style, and gain access to a secret part to another kingdom. So it's interesting how the world is actually all interconnected and designed together with the characters, the story. It all kind of comes together and it just makes it's cohesive, and I love that. Yeah. Like it works so well.
Yeah, I always love it when Mario games add new crazy characters, because that's like they have such good ideas, and it's just lately with some like their Paper Mario games and like Mario 3D World, they haven't really added that many new characters to those games, especially the Paper Mario series. I don't know why they just think Toads are like the bomb.com, but no more, please.
I actually I like their role in this game. I love their role in this game too. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You can find Captain Toad.
I mean, Toads are great.
Yeah.
Toads are great, just not when they're all Toads. Not when everything's a Toad.
Yeah, that's true. Like compared to Mario 64, where everyone in the hub world is just a Toad that's stuck to the wall. It's funny though, because the Toads have really come a long way, right? Like the Toads just used to be that basic thing, but now the Toads are like the Toad Brigade, right? They travel around, they're exploring, they set up shops, and you always find Captain Toad, and there's the Hint Toad as well. Like, I love it how you always find Captain Toad in different weird, like, random parts of a world, like something that's super hard to reach. And you get to him, and he's like, oh, I have no idea how I got here, and I have no idea how I'm getting down, but here's a moon. Then leave me for dead, it's okay.
I found this here.
Yeah, and then you're like, bye, and then he's still stuck there, you know? So it's kind of funny.
I think one of the names of the moons was Get Some Rest, Captain Toad. When you collect it, it's just Get Some Rest, Captain Toad.
Yeah, it's true, because every moon has its own, like, little title, right? It's like kind of like a mini episode, if you think of it that way. So it's also telling, like, a little bit of a narrative. So I just thought of something that I haven't tried out yet. What happens if you try to crawl inside Captain Toad's tent? Can you crawl inside his tent? I've never tried that.
I don't think so. I haven't tried it either.
I want to, like, try now, but I don't know. I would have to, like, play and find out. Probably nothing. I never got the sense that I could crawl in there, right? But it's only that now I'm talking about and thinking about his tent. That is there a possibility that he could climb in there? I wonder if anyone's hearing what I'm saying yet and talking about this. Yeah, actually, Son Gohan's talking about how there are lots and lots of Easter eggs. Lots and lots of Easter eggs. So many of them everywhere. Like the Metro Kingdom, it is everywhere. And I love how the Metro Kingdom obviously is inspired by New York City. And the premise of, like, you know, Donkey Kong's that Mario's like a guy from the city, you know, and they really fleshed out that whole idea. And I love it. It's just super cool. And Pauline is great. I love what they've done with her character. They just, you know, she has this whole new life now, you know. But still, when you go through all the... Yeah, I guess you haven't played through all of Metro Kingdom yet, Brandon. But
no, just that first segment.
But it's really cool how they designed everything. There's a lot of homages to, you know, like... Oh, one of my cats are in here. Great.
I know, like, all the street names and the street signs are, like, Donkey Kong references. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Donkey Kong 64 references, which I like because that game's pretty awesome.
Yeah, there is, man, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but it's like it's super cool. I can't say anything, but there's many references in this game, and I love it. So I'm gonna go back to the chat unless there's something you want to say, Brandon.
Well, just speaking in the chat. People are talking about Son Gohan is talking about how you use the flagpoles to teleport around the map. Like, I know you can, I just never have. I'm just like, I'll just walk there, probably find a moon on the way. It's like, I don't like teleporting.
I do.
I could, like, every once in a while maybe, but like, I could probably find something on the way to where I'm going. So I just don't.
Yeah.
So I have too many distractions on the way, I might as well just walk.
Right, but Fan of Gaming thinks that you can't get back to the Odyssey if you're too far. You can actually teleport back, as, you know, who pointed out? Yeah, Son Gohan was saying you can teleport using the map. It's just the thing is, the warp point for the Odyssey is a different icon than the other warp points. So a lot of times I've looked at the map, right, and I'd be like, wait, where's the Odyssey? So I usually need to take another moment to actually see that. But yeah, you can totally do it. You can warp back to the Odyssey at any point.
I think you can warp to the shops and stuff too.
I don't know if you can warp to the shop. They'll be marked if you found them. I haven't checked that. I can't be sure. Actually, I haven't
tried to warp, but like you can scroll over them and like select them.
You cannot. Look, I have the game right here. You can teleport to every flag. You can teleport to the Odyssey, but you cannot teleport to the shop or the parrot, which are labeled on the map. You just can't warp to them. So yeah.
I thought maybe, yeah.
No.
It would kind of make sense, because you can like select them, so I never actually tried, but I thought maybe you could.
No, you can't. But they're usually really pretty close to the Odyssey.
Yeah,
So,
they're pretty close to stuff. So.
oh, some go on saying that you can't actually get inside the tent. I figured, but you know, since I was just thinking about it, I wanted to try. I'm still gonna try later. You know, but yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah, there's so many references. Like we talked about already a little bit, but there's so many references. Like with the clothes, and there are so many different costumes you can get in this game. Like each kingdom, you can get like somewhere between 1 and 3 different costumes that I've been to so far.
Yeah,
and it stacks up, and you can mix and match them too, so you can come up with some pretty crazy get-ups. And I haven't found them all yet. Did I lose Brandon? Oh, I thought you lost you again. You went quiet for.
No.
Like, there was like just a moment. It just seemed like you were gone. I was like, oh. But
no, I'm still here. I'm still alive.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's just so much to talk about this game. I love everything so far. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, so you know I have to be careful what we talk about. But everything has just been great. It's been great. I've loved every part of it. It's just been awesome. Like, it's interesting, right? Because the game, they said it's like a spiritual successor to Mario 64 and Sunshine, and I do feel like I see a lot of Mario 64 and Sunshine in the game. But you know,
I see a lot of Mario Galaxy as well.
I see a lot of Mario Galaxy in the game as well. I really do. And you know what? I don't want to say it, but you know, I do think I see a little bit of 3D World in the game as well. It's kind of taking, it takes something from every Mario game, but it's taking, you know, there's like, you know, obviously Captain Toad from Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which was originally in 3D World, you know, but so there are elements taken from even those games and a lot of the 2D games as well. But mainly we're seeing stuff coming from 64 Sunshine and the Galaxy games, and it really does feel like Sunshine, Galaxy, Mario 64, and Breath of the Wild had a baby, and that's what Super Mario Odyssey is. You know, because
yeah, it does feel like that.
Like the content, you know, seems to all be inspired from Sunshine 64 and Galaxy, but like some of the overarching structure, like the way the game is designed, seems to be taking some pieces from Breath of the Wild. It feels nothing like Breath of the Wild, but simply in the sense that
in the design structure,
like the way, you know, you see things, you can go from one place to another. It just keeps you, there's like a flow to it as you explore, and it's constantly piquing your curiosity in that sense. But also in the way I see the controls design. So here's the thing: Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, they're both third-person action adventure games to a degree, right? They're obviously their genres are slightly different, but they're both third-person games, right? You know, you see your character with the camera behind you, and you can like twist around them, right? And they explore around, they jump around. Their controls are very unique, I think. Like the way these two games are controlled aren't like your typical Assassin's Creed or any other third-person kind of game. You know what I mean? It feels different. Like they don't do like the normal way of controlling things aside from the control stick and the analog. It's weird. But it's not weird in the sense where it feels bad. It's just like, oh, this is different. It feels different. But once you get the hang of it, you know, it's like, okay, this works. Like, but they clearly made the controls in an unconventional way where like they weren't building the game with a previous game in mind. Like they constructed the controls with a brand new like frame of mind. You know what I mean? I mean, Mario Odyssey doesn't even use all the buttons.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No.
I feel like the weird. Controls are in a very smooth way, I guess. That's the best way I can put it. Like, it's just, they feel so much smoother than a lot of other games. Like, a lot of games are like, they feel like almost clunky in comparison to a lot of the other games. Like, Mario is just so smooth, and you just, like, run around, and you can just combo so many different techniques and jumps and different things.
So what's the longest jump you can come up with? So what I've been able to do is I do the long jump. I do the long jump, right? I throw my hat. Then I dive in the air. I land on the hat. So I bounce forward. I throw the hat again, and then I dive one more time. But on my second dive, I cannot land on the hat a second time. So I long jump, hat throw, dive, hat throw, dive. So basically, I do like 5 jumps.
I've done that, forward.
And I've gone to some crazy places. But that's the longest jump combination I've been able to do. Yeah. I just took a glance at the chat. Kimishima said that when you beat the game, you can play any music from any other kingdom in any other kingdom. So that's cool that you could do stuff like that. I didn't know that. I mean, that's not really... I wouldn't even count that as a spoiler. Sup, Blackstar dude? How you doing, bro? Yeah.
Speaking... People are talking a lot about the music. The music in this game is awesome. I feel like it's got a very Galaxy vibe to it. Especially in the Cascade Kingdom. I'm pretty sure that's a remix of a Galaxy... Or a Galaxy song or something super, super similar.
Cascade Kingdom?
Yes.
I'm literally going to go there to test this because I don't agree with you.
What do you mean?
I don't agree. Like, I don't agree. I don't agree.
It sounds very Mario.
I'm going to play the Cascade Kingdom now. Music now.
Well, the Cascade Kingdom. I will be vindicated.
I'm going to Cascade Kingdom. And by the way, we're going to see how long it takes to get there. Okay, head off to another kingdom. Set sail. I'm pressing set sail. I am pressing set sail. Okay, I'm at Wooded Kingdom. Down, down. Cascade Kingdom. I press Cascade Kingdom. We're now flying. I skipped the first cutscene. Alright, it's loading. Skip the second cutscene. Okay, I'm talking to Cappy. I'm just pressing buttons quickly to skip all the text. I'm skipping the next cutscene. And we're here. Oh, you can skip the intro to that too. Okay, I am now in Cascade Kingdom. It does sound like Galaxy.
Done! Done! Vindicated, bro.
It's like...
It's so Galaxy.
Can you hear it from my microphone?
Yeah.
Well, or should I raise the volume?
Probably raise the volume.
It sounds kind of like Gusty Garden a little bit in the beginning.
It does.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like a remix of that song with more instruments.
All right, I'm literally gonna grab my gamepad to raise the volume. I can't find my television remote. Can you guys hear it better now? Brandon, I'm depending on you because...
Yeah, it sounds better. I don't know, but it's harder. It's strange because it's like the quality doesn't sound as good as the other.
Right, because I mean I'm playing off the television right now.
Yeah, but the other, I don't know, maybe it's the instruments or maybe it's the pitch that this song is at, but it just doesn't sound as good.
Yeah.
As the other one.
Right.
But yeah, we can hear generally what it's supposed to be, which is very Galaxy-ish.
Yeah, it does. I agree with you. There's a Galaxy-esque-ness to it. I'm not gonna argue with that. So, yeah. I'll just leave it on, I guess. Yeah, so, yeah, I see what you're saying. But definitely the music, everything is, like, really different and unique. Like, all the music is, like, bold and well put together, orchestrated. And there's even parts that are vocals. I've heard that there are other portions aside from Jump Up Superstar that are vocal. And I can't wait to get to that point. I haven't gotten there at all. So, the music's super, super polished.
Yeah.
Like, and it just all sounds really good. Like, no, like, earlier I was playing some music from Mario Odyssey. I was literally just dancing around. Like, the music is that good. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, we were both dancing in right before the podcast started.
Oh, I'm reading the chat here. Yeah, Cascade Kingdom does use the music from the first trailer of Odyssey. Galaxy is much more has much more calming music.
That's true. I feel like the music is better in Super Mario Odyssey than Galaxy, and I feel like it's more varied at least. I feel like the atmosphere is generated better by the music in Odyssey than in Galaxy. So I feel like Galaxy some of them were too similar.
Yeah. I'm not worried about copyright strikes because I'm pretty good with avoiding copyright strikes from Nintendo. Also, they don't even do strikes. Nintendo doesn't do any copyright strikes. No, they do copyright claims. Yeah. And a copyright claim is when you don't get in trouble at all for claims. So Nintendo will claim your stuff, and what happens is that the video will be monetized for them, right? But if you're part of the creators program, you can submit it and get 70% of the proceeds. Not the proceeds, the revenue.
Companies that strike channels for stupid reasons like copyrighted music are so, like, an evil. There's such evil because, like, it's such a bad thing for YouTubers. Like, 3 strikes and your channel is just disbanded. A single strike, you can't live stream for 90 days. Like, there's a bunch of stuff you just can't do. It's just like, because you put some copyrighted music in there.
But I've never...
It sucks. Nintendo's so good about that, though.
I got one strike from Pokemon once, but I argued it and they took it off. But I won't get a claim for having music playing because the acoustics of the room literally changes around the music, and we're also actually talking over it the entire time, so it won't even come up on the algorithm, right? But even if it did, technically speaking, what we're doing is 100% fair use. So like, it's 100%. It's 100% legal. Like, not doing anything wrong at all. Not that I'm saying you are. I know you're just joking, but I'm just kind of saying for people who don't understand. So, no concerns here about copyright claims or strikes, at least from Nintendo. But yeah, so I agree that the Galaxy music is amazing. It's super epic and bombastic, right? But the Galaxy music is kind of all similar. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's not varied enough.
It doesn't have. Like, I'm not saying it's not so much a critique as just an observation. Yeah. Like the Galaxy
it's kind of a critique for the entirety of Galaxy as well.
Like the entire game of Galaxy is very grandiose and epic in terms of design, not exploration, but like in terms of like the style, right? Odyssey, however, is not as serious, right? And some of the music isn't trying to be grandiose or epic. It's just whatever kind of flows with that level, you know. So I see what you're saying. Like if you're into like really bombastic, epic scores, Odyssey will have some of it, but a lot of it's just kind of more like calming or like interesting or like quirky, you know. It's just a lot of variety in Odyssey. Galaxy is kind of like all of a similar vein. So you know, however it appeals to you. I haven't seen everything in Odyssey yet, so I'm not going to give a final verdict when I think of the music.
Yeah.
But so far, it's really, really good, and there literally are parts that I'm just jumping up and dancing with. Like, it's just that good.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I got to a certain part in Metroid Kingdom, there's a part where Jump Up Superstar plays, and I literally am singing along with the game as I'm playing it. I've never done that with a video game, where I'm singing along. I've never done that. As I'm playing a video game. Literally playing it. I've never sung along. So
I did that in Xenoblade when I was flying mechs. I would sing along to that song.
Oh, that's interesting.
I thought that one was really good.
That's interesting. No, I didn't do that. I enjoyed it, but I didn't sing along. I thought that is a cool moment in Xenoblade that when you finally get to fly and the music changes. So yeah. Oh, Phantom Games got a multi-moon. Actually, I saw earlier you said that you beat the Luncheon Kingdom. I haven't even gone to Luncheon Kingdom yet. And actually, I've heard that the Luncheon Kingdom is also not the favorite kingdom for some people. I will give my own opinion on that when I get to it. But I will say some people complain about the Lake Kingdom. I don't see it.
They're stupid. That kingdom is amazing.
I mean, I'm not going to say they're stupid. Everyone has their own opinions. But I don't agree with that at all, and I dislike them. I will say this. I don't dislike them, but I just don't agree. Arlo... I started watching the review from Arlo, you know, the puppet, and I don't like his opinion sometimes. I kind of feel like he says things to sort of appeal to people who like to hate on Nintendo sometimes. Like, he doesn't hate on Nintendo at all, but I feel like sometimes he comes up with random critiques just to critique something.
Because it makes the review more interesting if you're not always...
Actually, you know, I don't mean to point fingers, right? But that's something I've kind of got out of what he said. Because he basically said he doesn't think the game looks that much better. He doesn't think the graphics are that good. It's like, oh, it looks like a little bit better than Galaxy. Maybe. And only because of art design. That's what he said. The game barely looks better than Galaxy. I'm like, huh? What?
It's a scientific fact. This game has better graphics.
It has better graphics by a long shot. But the game is way prettier than Galaxy. Way prettier than Galaxy. Like, I'm pretty sure that's a common opinion. I actually stopped watching his video when I heard that. I was just completely turned off. It's like, no, I don't like Arlo's opinion a lot, and I don't want to focus on him. But I actually do feel like there's a lot of critics out there that are from big Nintendo publications, right? That sometimes they will come up with critiques just so people will take them more seriously. And here's the thing. Mario Odyssey is a very, very good game. I do think there are some minor faults, but overall the game's very well polished. It's very well done. They don't really give you much to like pick apart. You know, it ultimately comes down to how well they go above and beyond, right? So the game's like, it hits every mark right. It just... when it ranks amongst the greats, right? You have to ask yourself, what does it do to go above and beyond? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not saying that some Nintendo YouTubers are bad. Like, a lot of times Nintendo YouTubers are actually, not YouTubers, just reviewers in general, are accused of, like, just praising Nintendo constantly and seeing nothing wrong with them. So I feel like a lot of times, some Nintendo journalists will actually just come up with critiques sometimes. So people will take them more seriously. And
yeah, and some of the critiques they come up with are dumb.
Yeah, like saying that Odyssey looks barely better than Galaxy. Come on, like if you want to argue art style, okay. But here's the thing: he said the only reason Odyssey looks a little bit better than Galaxy is because of the art style.
It's just not.
Maybe he worded something wrong there.
I mean, there are some graphical things. If you want to complain about graphics, you could say there are some parts with the shadow quality is actually pretty bad on some parts.
I wish there was more
frame rate
grass.
issues in Metro. Yeah, I wish there was more grass. Like the Metro Kingdom has some frame rate issues. They need anti-aliasing is not a thing. This isn't a perfect like super graphics game, but to say it's not better at all than a game that came out on the Wii, like that's just not even a thing.
I don't know.
It's just not true. It's straight up not true. It's not even an opinion. It's just factually not correct.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's just sometimes people say things and I mean, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but sometimes they just hardcore disagree to the nth degree. So there's something else I want to talk about because, you know, I don't want to spoil everything for Mario Odyssey. I'm going to call this, I guess, this conversation a night soon because this is actually getting kind of long now. But
yeah,
I kind of lost my train of thought, but I know now. So people are giving raving reviews for Super Mario Odyssey. Last time I checked, Mario Odyssey is ranked number 2 of all time on game rankings, and it's at least in the top 10. Is it
number 2 now? It was number 1. It was number 1.
I don't know. I'm not sure. But nevertheless, it's in the top 10. Its overall aggregate score, when you compare all like serious publications that have released their reviews, is 97. Okay, that is tied with the best games of all time. On Metacritic and Gamer Rankings, it is in the top 10 highest rated games of all time, along with Breath of the Wild. Right? So there are a lot of people out there like, oh, this is garbage, oh, they're paying out reviews, all this nonsense. That barely ever happens. Like, no, these are, and when people want to give Nintendo flack, they give Nintendo flack. When Skyward Sword came out, it did not get reviews that were as high as even Twilight Princess, okay? So it's not true. You know? Yeah, 3D World got pretty good reviews, and it was an overall solid game for sure, right? But its review scores are not nearly as high as Mario Odyssey. There's a reason these games are getting high reviews. It's because they deserve it. So there are just some fanboys out there that like to assume one game is bad over another. Like, there are Sony fanboys that were really bent out of shape when Horizon Zero Dawn didn't get as high of a review score as Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is, you know, it just has one of the best games of all time in terms of rating. Now, here's the thing I'll say about Horizon Zero Dawn, though. Horizon Zero Dawn is the first of its IP. It's the first game in that franchise. And as a first game, you know, it's such a high-budget game, to carve out a score like that, I think it averaged like 93 or something, which is really good. Really, really good. No, get down. Do not step on the computer and turn everything off. Like, it's really, you can see her in the background. It's a really good game. So to have gotten a score like that as its first entry in the franchise, that's super special. Nintendo has been making Zelda and Mario for over 30 years. Right, so they're getting to a point where they know what to appeal to. They know how to make it fresh. They've achieved something in design, you know, that just goes above and beyond the competition right now, and that's just a fact. What isn't a fact is people's opinions on the game. I think Mario Odyssey is amazing. I don't know where I personally rank it, but it is one of the highest rated games of all time, and I see why so far. It's amazing. I love it. I enjoy it. And I can't wait to keep on playing it, and I'm going to try to get a review out for it by the end of the week. So I guess those are my final thoughts for this discussion. Brandon, is there anything else you want to say before we say goodbye to everyone?
Yeah, but first I'd like to point out,
Sure.
I just checked, it is number 1, 98.46. It's number 1 most best rated game on Game Rankings. Yes.
On Game Rankings.
But something I'd like to point out is, like, I didn't realize how much Cappy was going to, like, influence the gameplay of this game. Because especially when I heard people talking about, like, the Cappy free segments that were kind of like Sunshine, I was like, but Sunshine has the Flood, and the Flood enhances gameplay like so much more than Cappy. But then I actually played the game. I was like, no, Cappy influences gameplay so much. There's so much you do with Cappy.
Well,
it's like,
I mean, if you count transformations,
so
like, it's just
much.
unreal. We didn't even talk about transformations that much. There's so much. They're so cool.
Yeah.
The Tyrannosaurus Rex. Like, there's some that I don't want to spoil for other people, but it's just really, really good. There are some epic, super cool, comical moments, epic moments. Like, it's just, there's so much variety, and everything's controlled so well and feels so different. It's just kind of mesmerizing how they were able to create so many unique gameplay styles with all these different characters that really combine with the worlds. It's just incredibly intelligent design. Like, it's just, some of the moments are just amazing. Like, okay, I'm gonna talk about one, and it's, should I? I'm thinking about if I should say it or not. I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna try to think of something else right now that's, like, different but still cool. Okay, so for example, like, you know, even the Goombas are interesting. You transform into a Goomba, right? And where you take possession of a Goomba, you can move around, and on ice you don't slip, right? But so it kind of gives you, like, a different way to move through a platforming level. Like, you can go as normal Mario, or you can transform Goomba, and it's easy to move around, but you can't jump as much. However, you can stack yourself on top of other Goombas, and when you do that, you can get really high, and that gives you access to a whole other part of a level that you would not have been able to get to as normal Mario. But you didn't need to do it at all. You could have just played through normal Mario and done other stuff. So, like, all these transformations give you new options, new abilities, do different things that are really cool and just add to a lot more variety and different ways to play Mario Odyssey. So it's just, well, you know, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much that can be said about this game. So I guess I'll look over the chat a little bit if there's anything else you want to say, Brandon. I'll say, read through the chat here.
Yeah, it's just Cappy is just so much more than I thought they would be, because I thought it was going to be more like Mario 64, just like super. I thought it was going to be more basic like that, and just jump on enemies and stuff. But no, it's just like you throw your cap at enemies, you can do all these jumps and different things with the cap. Like, it's just so much more than I thought there was going to be. Like, it actually, you do feel kind of gimped when you don't have Cappy anymore. I thought it was just going to play pretty much the same, but no, it actually feels very different.
So, it's an interesting point about maybe Cappy and Tiara becoming the actual Smash Bros. Characters. I don't know how I feel about that, because they just seem kind of like hats. But maybe, I think Brandon, you even put in the chat, like, what if Mario and Peach had Cappy and Tiara, and they were just other characters? So, like, I guess in a way clones, but they would feel completely different. So maybe they would be kind of like how they had the Pokemon trainer in Brawl, right, where you just transform into different transformations. I could see something like that, maybe. And it wouldn't feel like a clone character at all, because, you know, it would be different. And with all the different costumes that Odyssey has brought out, the next Smash Brothers has tons of options for Mario costumes.
I think Mario could be a really cool character in the next Smash if they make him the Mario Odyssey Mario, and he can just, every move is a different transformation. That'd be so awesome. Because Mario right now, he's just kind of like, he's an okay Smash character, but he's just kind of like plain
I think
all around.
Either A, you completely change around the current Mario, right, and give him Odyssey abilities, or you create two separate characters.
Yeah. I mean, they already have Dr. Mario. Just get rid of Dr. Mario and put Mario Odyssey Mario in there. Dr. Mario feels so similar to the regular Mario. It's
yeah, like what they could do is just make Dr. Mario a skin, and devote the other Mario to having different skins. And that's actually a good way how they could have, because it's the thing, with Mario Odyssey, there are way more costumes now for Mario, but all the other Nintendo characters don't have as many costumes, right? So what you could do is give like maybe 6 costumes to the normal Mario, right? One of which being the Dr. Mario, but then some from the Odyssey, and then the Odyssey will be a little straight up just like 6 or however many Odyssey costumes. So they can do something like that. But yeah, anyways, I guess we should end this discussion because it's getting late. Where we've been doing this for an hour and 40 minutes. So it's a long one. It's literally 100 minutes. But I know, guys, if you still want to talk about this, you know, you can put it in the chat. Check me out on Discord. Check Brandon out on Discord and Twitter. And, of course, the YouTube channel. It's all in the description below. And I will be putting out a review for Mario Odyssey, hopefully by the end of the week. So stay tuned for that. And we can continue the Mario Odyssey conversation. So, the game's awesome. I can't wait to tell you more about it. I can't wait to talk more about the game. Thanks for watching, everyone. And I hope you all have a really good night. Bye.
Bye, guys.